as the Chiefs' offense is starting to look explosive, like the unit we've seen in years past, comes a big test in Duval County on Monday night. A lot of people are saying this is the biggest test the Chiefs have had this year. And if you look at the numbers so far, Jacksonville Jaguars ranked number 5 in scoring defense. And right now, they are the league leader in takeaways right now. Coming off a game where they just beat the San Francisco 49ers. And, of course, 49ers are dealing with their own injuries as well. But, JD, when you look at a game like this and just seeing the research you've done on the Jaguars and whatnot, how big of a test is this for the Chiefs, especially coming off a game where we looked so good against Baltimore? And we know Baltimore's got their own issues with their injuries and stuff, but that's the thing. We've played against teams who were battered with injuries before, and they still were, we didn't blow them out of the water, right? Our offense didn't click like it did, but something did click on last Sunday. How important is this game against Jacksonville to kind of start up with the same way we left off on Sunday?
I think it's going to be a good challenge with us. I do. Listen, we understand that they have a very good defense. They got a very fast defense, especially, the secondary, kind of getting downhill on the linebackers. And of course, for us, we got a lot of speed on offense too. And that's something we got to be able to utilize. I watched a little bit of the San Fran game against them, and it didn't look – San Fran didn't seem like, right, you without Kittle, okay, you don't have Kittle, which is a big difference as far as like some of the things you're going to be able to do. And so I think it was Brock's first game back, wasn't it?
And his toe was doing so bad that he's not even going to play tomorrow night. I mean, it's only a 3-day turnaround. That's how bad his toe was.
He looked real suspect on some of those things. So yeah, we understand it's being challenged down there in Jacksonville too. But one thing I do say is this: as much as their defense does fly around, I think we're going to have a beautiful game plan for them. And I think what we have to see is the same thing that we seen this last game. I think you got to do a mix. If you want to beat this team, you got to mix it up some. That means run the football effective, hat on a hat, get on up the field. And then you got your targets. You can throw it deep. You got Worthy, you got Hollywood, Taquan, you got Juju, Travis Kelce can get off. And so I think those things, works in our favor. We just got to manage what we do, shooting. Sometimes we got to take shots when we have them and go up top. As long as we do it and we protect Pat, I think we're going to be fine. Now, on the other side of the ball, I think is where we really, have the advantage. Our defense against their offense. And so with our defense, we know that we've been shutting people down as far as like getting points on the board. And I don't see that being any different this week. And so Trevor Lawrence is who he's been. When he first got in, I really thought Sunshine was going to be this guy. Yeah, and he's been okay up and down, but they signed a big contract, man. I don't know if that Joker should have got the money he got. Just be honest with you. Etienne, we know is good. He's a good runner. Brayshaw Tootin is a guy that's in the backfield. They've been giving him a little bit of looks. Let me see the tight end. What is his name?
Brenton Strange.
Brenton Strange is pretty good. Okay, and we know Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. How those guys are going to look, but I think they've been somewhat a pedestrian. As far as this whole season, it really has. So I think if we start the run game, we play forceful in the pass. I think we're going to be fine. Still bring pressure, make Trevor Lawrence. We know Trevor Lawrence will turn the ball over. He will turn the ball over. As long as we do those things like that, attack them down in their place, we're going to be fine, Marcus. I think we're going to be fine. So,
so I'll get to the defensive points that you brought up, but offensively, Jacksonville, based on the metrics I've read, they run zone defense more, top 5 in the league. Most of their base D is a zone defense. So this game is not going to be more of a. I mean, we may test the deep ball, but this is the kind of game where it's going to be kind of more of a death by 1,000 cuts. Is that going to be kind of the game plan you think this is going to be? This type of game against the zone D?
Well, here's the thing. So what we do well, I would surmise, is I think we have a good offense for zone coverage. I truly do. Because we do a lot of kind of and in those guys, let me put it this way. And the reason why we do great against zone coverage is any of those guys run route combinations to be more so zone coverage than they do man. And so sometimes when you see man, and I just say this before Xavier Worthy came back here, was it guys was really kind of sticky on guys? Yeah, you can run man. Why? Because you didn't think somebody was going to beat you up top until you start throwing in Taekwon. Well, now all of a sudden, Xavier Worthy, you go man against him, he beats you deep. So it'd probably be in their best interest to probably sit there and say, okay, we don't have man, we'll just run zone. Well, shoot, we got a couple of comebacks. We got a couple of wrap routes. We got a couple of over routes. Travis Kelce does the best zone tight end route running than anybody in the business. We understand that. And so our route combination that we do and how we immerse this against defenses is better against the zone. So I think Pat, man, you give him time, he's just going to pick them apart. That's the only thing he needs. He just needs time. If you give him time against the zone, they'll definitely pick him apart. So I think what they do, Marcus, they'll probably try to do a little bit of mix, try to scheme it up somewhat, to try to, at least challenges. We understand that. Now, here's the thing. The zone goes down into, obviously, the red zone. Okay, we were talking about that. A little bit different because all the spaces get tighter. Okay, that's the difference. Where we run a little bit more kind of pick routes and whatnot down there in the red zone. But we also have, that zone beater where guys just sit in the hole and sit in the window. We do a great job of understanding that. And Pat does a great job of at least conveying to his guys, hey, listen, don't run and get covered. Hey, if you see a window, sit there, sit in the hole. And so I think you'll start seeing some of us, like Juju scored the other day, passes like that. Juju or Travis and all those guys, I think those are the kind of plays you're going to be looking for. Shovel pass is another one. I think he's going to do the shovel pass, and Pat took it himself. Those plays always work. So
yeah, and I think too, like we talked about before, I think Worthy has shown time and time again that he's not just a deep ball guy. I mean, one of the routes that he ran this past week, that beautiful comeback where he had the guy on skates. And it was just, just to get to be able to get open for Pat right there was amazing. And yes, we have Taekwon, you have Hollywood, you have Worthy, who are all deep threat type of guys, but they can do a lot of everything else, which is amazing about those guys. Do you think in this game, with as far as matchup similarity wise, Jacksonville's defense, is that more aligned with more of the Chargers' defense of the teams we've played so far? Are they more similar to? Do they more mimic that style of play?
I think so. They're a little bit of Chargers and Philly.
Right.
Philly does a lot of that too, zone wise. And they like bringing that safety down in the box to cover and kind of sit there and, and get the tight end coming off the line of scrimmage. But I think, for us, man, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. But having X absolutely opens up what we do. But like I said, Marcus, and I keep going back to this, we got to run the football. Why have we not been as great in the red zone? Is when we are a second and goal from the 5, we're passing the ball. Hand the daggone ball off. Come downhill. Go under center. And they help out a lot too. Under center, the action from the backfield help changes things. We do a lot of motion and whatnot and shifts that is also going to tear them up a little bit. Now, Liam Cohen, his offense, they do a lot of that too. Okay. But I don't think they do it to the degree that we do it. Things are going to look different. So you just have the dogs chase the car. That's what you need to do. Have the dogs chase the car. So.
Do you anticipate in a game like this, you see this more of a Kelce kind of game? It could be a big Kelce game with the zone like this, especially being open.
I think Kelce will have at least 6 for 92.
Wow. Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I can see. I can definitely see him getting off, and he'll get some of those deep shots as well. So how do you affect zone? Well, you affect zone with speed. That's what you have to do. Okay, you got to be able to push those guys off. You know how you was talking about that curl route that X ran. Okay, or the comeback you want to call it, but that quick little curl route. if you beat him with speed, he's got to open his hips. Even though he's got zone coverage, he's got the depth. Okay, he's got that zone. So what do you got to do? You got to threaten that zone with speed. And so we do such a good job of that. Curl routes, like I said, wrap routes, middle reads, all those different things. And Travis just owns the middle. He owns the middle. Now, what I would say is this, okay? And this is what I've been waiting for. When we get down there in the red zone, I would love to see either 13 personnel, my preference, 13 personnel, try to run the football, play action from that, or if you decide to bring in an extra tackle to play that tight end, shoot, then run the daggone football and play action out off of that as well. But I think that's what you have to do. Man, you got to threaten the run. So I think Rich Cooper said something about RPOs. But the only way RPO is going to work is if you run the daggone football. Hey, and everybody understands that. Like, I mean, it's spots, right? I mean, RPO rules is pretty much the same. It really is. And so what do? You can disguise it. Who's going to be there? But who's going to be open on that is really the case. So
yeah, RPO is really a PO with if you're not running the ball. They're not going to respect the run. Run pass option. You're not running the ball. It's a pass option.
Yeah, he just like he is. He just giving an action, and he can sit back. They can just sit back. So.
Just a brief thing on the Jaguars. I know they're at top 5. I mentioned their top 5 scoring defense, but they've faced the 23rd, the 26th, 29th, and 30th ranked offenses so far this season. So, like it's a test for us. It's also a test for them as well to see if they are legit.
And that was really I wanted to kind of allude to that point of like, who had they really played?
So they played Cincy. That was the game Burrow got hurt at halftime. They ended up losing to Browning. Browning, the second half comeback, fourth quarter comeback drive for them. San Francisco with Purdy's hurt foot. Pearsall leaving the game early. Jawan Jennings leaving the game early. No Kittle. They played Houston, I believe.
Beat them 17-10.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, they haven't really played. They haven't really been tested yet. So this is a big test for them. So, but yeah, a lot of pundits are already saying this is you can't really judge the Chiefs on the Ravens game. You got to judge them on the Jaguars game. And of course, ESPN pundits are saying that because they want people to go watch the game on Monday night, which people are going to do that anyways. You don't need to add fodder in there by saying this is an actual test for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll know what they're about when they play the Jaguars on Monday night. JD's Duval County. Is Jacksonville? Is that a tough place to play or no?
No. They get sporadic crowds. They don't really fill the stadium up. I would have to say when I look at those places, Jacksonville I've yet to see a game where the stadium's always packed. And I always look at the crowd like, well, who's all out here? You start looking at the crowd at Jacksonville, and it's like little crowd, and they mean, yeah, it is patchy. There you go. That's a great one, patchy. That's a good one. I love that. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, man. It's not a tough place to play. Now I will say this, okay? I don't particularly like it. This is where I went down and I dislocated my elbow, Jacksonville. So,
oh dang,
yeah, yes sir. And I remember that joker. I remember that happening, man. So. Oof. I've never had a good time down in Jacksonville. One of my boys is down there, man. He's from Jacksonville. So.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I just, I got my dislocated elbow. Oh, my gosh. You're talking about one of the most painful things to ever experience? It was that. And so, hey, my right arm, you may tell your story. Have I not told you this?
I don't think so. I don't think I heard this dislocated elbow story.
Okay. So we're on offense, and I think we ran like a boot. And so I got, the over route coming in, and Trent throws it to Tony in the flat. Okay. Tony's open in the flat. So I turn to go block, and I got my guy, and I'm blocking him up the sideline, and Tony's coming up the sideline. Well, Tony about to get hit, and I'm blocking for him. And Tony just puts his head down and just plows forward. And he just hit my elbow while we just like a collision. He hits my elbow. I'm pushing the guy over. And I knew immediately when he hit me. I knew it immediately when he hit me that something was wrong. Okay. And all this is going through my head while I'm falling to the ground. So as I'm going down on the ground, I said, if I could catch myself with my hand and arm, I'm fine, right? I'm fine. I go down and my arm just like it was like spaghetti. And I'm just like, oh man. They almost, you know how they talk about like Tyreek and his knee? So imagine my elbow doing the same thing. It was like, I was sitting over here and I remember this. I never forgot this, okay? I never forgot this. The guy that I was blocking, when I hit the ground, he said, yeah, that's why your arm is broke. And I'm like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
man.
So I go down and I'm looking at my arm, Marcus. I'm like looking at my arm and my elbow is like out here and my arm is turned all the way around and my elbow is like out here. And I'm like, I picked my arm up and it felt like when you see those big old rubber arms, that's what it felt like. It didn't even feel like it was my arm. It didn't even feel like it. And I'm sitting there and I just sit down. And I feel like I'm going through shock. Well, the boom guy, you know, the microphone dude that has a big old disc on the side, he sees me, he's like, oh, I see his face. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I see him just doing that, right? And so I'm like this, with my arm and my hand, I'm just like, help. Like, I need help. So obviously, you know, the trainers run down, you know, Bud Epps. Bud Epps comes and sees me. And immediately he turns, he's like this to the medical doctors and everybody. The trainers come down. And he's like, oh, like JD, and I'm just like, Bud, help me. So they lay me down. Coach Ramil comes over. And so Coach Ramil is like holding my legs. They like, all right, hold him now. So the doctor is grabbing, like, I got one doctor grab my arm to pull. Another doctor up here is pulling the other one. And another one's like trying to set my elbow, right? And so when I'm telling you, the amount of pain, and I'm screeching, hollering, and they're pulling. And when they're pulling, I'm like, yeah, I'm like just yelling. And they don't set it. I'm like, oh. It's like Coach Mill just hold me down like, JD, just stay right here. Just stay right here. He's like, we got to do it again. I'm like, no, don't do it. He's like, man, we got to do it one more time. Sure enough, they get it again. I'm just yelling, and they hold me down. And they finally get it in. It locks up. And I'm telling you, when they placed it, that's when the pain went away, right? But it was still, I still had pain, but it wasn't like the pain like when it was initial, like it out of place and stuff like that.
Oh man.
It all reminds me like when Tyreek was getting carted off. Like he had pain, but he was still like cognizant of like, hey, everybody, stuff like that, right?
Right.
And I remember they put me on a cart. Of course, everybody, you know, checked me out and stuff, and then give the, you know, I had to give the little thumbs up to the crowd when I'm going out, you know. So that's my one little thumbs up to the crowd.
Did you play the rest of that game, or you were done for the game?
Oh, I was done.
Oh, you were done.
So I was done for the rest of the year.
I was definitely a year.
Oh, it was it over. I think it was like, shoot, I forgot what it was, but I tore like all my ligaments right here in my shoulder. And the thing is, he told me that thank God I was so strong and my muscle and stuff that I didn't have more extensive injuries than that. But I was black and blue, torn up, muscle and everything. Dang. So I was like cast up. And I remember I was sitting in the training room. And as I was sitting there, like one of the trainers he just stayed with me the entire night. They just chill out, watching the game. I don't know if we won or lost. First one I seen though, first one that came in to come see me, the game was over, was Coach Solari, Mike Solari, offensive line coach. And I know Coach came over, he just like, oh man, JD, and I just like, I was in tears, man. I was just in tears. I was in tears just because of the injury. And then, you know, if you've had injury again over and over, I mean, it's just like one of those things like, dad, God, you know what I'm saying? But it was kind of like one of those, and I could see Coach Solari could feel me. He could feel my emotion and everything. And he was just tore up, like, God, dog. You know, things like that is when you know people care about you, the coaches. But man, I was done. I was done for the entire year. There's no coming back from that. No, sir. Dislocated elbow, all this torn.
Oh, man.
I'm watching my joint was out here, Marcus. Like literally, my whole arm was turned all the way around. Like it was turned all the way around. And I was sitting there thinking, like, what the? I didn't know what I was looking at.
Right.
And I was looking at my arm because it was just like a, like I
said, like a toy, like it was twisted around.
Yeah, that was crazy. But when I'm telling you, one of the worst pains that I ever experienced, that was it. I was like, I don't wish that on my worst enemy right there on that shoot.
Dang, man.
Enemies, but I'm just saying.
And that was Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
When you think of Jacksonville, you think of that's the first thing that comes to mind.
I always come up, man. Elbow start.
Oh man.
So yeah, man, that was my story in Jacksonville. I know I had to just tell you a quick little story about how this, but I thought I already told you about how dislocated my elbow. And it was T Gun. That was him. His doing. He was like, JD, I was like, it was absolutely you. It was absolutely you.
Well, that Jags player thought it was him who did it to you. Who was that Jags player?
I knew at the time. I don't know who it was now, but I knew at the time because I remember we played him again. I looked for that sucker.
Was it Donovan Darius or no?
No, Donovan ain't like that. It wasn't him. It was another dude. I would have known if it was Donovan. It was another guy. Yeah, man, that's why your arm is broke. I said, oh, I remember you. And I think we played him again, and I remember I searched for that sucker the entire game. You know what I mean? You know, really? You gonna enjoy, my suffering? Okay, I got you. Got something for you, buddy.
You'll have to keep a mental note of that number.
Number 24. Yeah, it's like
oh man.
Nah, that's it. So what he said, I passed that from a back injury back in the day as a kid, schoolyard football. Tell you, man, pain. And I realized at that moment, like I was in like a little bit of shock. Because I didn't know what to do. I was just sitting there like that, man, like, yo, oh, hell.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.